luxury of that, as John Holland was terrific. We tried 4 different guys guarding him. We defend, do a great job defending, but we couldn't stop him. And I thought that was the difference in the game. They have John Holland, we don't. They win by a few. So that's my recap.
Questions?
Coach, I know you guys started off real hot from behind the arc. I think you hit 5 of your first 6, but then went, 2 for something down the stretch. Did you think at all, Dallas got off to a great start?
Yeah.
And in the second half, is that how you wanted it to go, with still continuing to shoot threes, or did you want to try and work the ball more into the post?
Yeah, he played his best game of the year. So it was nice to have him back. Haven't seen that since last year when we played Vermont in the league championship. So, that was a bonus for us today. We always go in a scoring drought, so that's who we are right now. And so it's either in the first half or the second half. And tonight we got off to a good start in the second half. I thought they tightened up the defense. I got to give them credit. They forced our young guys to make plays. And you could see, we're a young basketball team. Dave Coley and AJ and Mayo. And, we're just young. And we weren't supposed to be young this year. We're supposed to be a veteran team with Chris Martin and Tommy Breton. And we're real young. And, it's been a grind. And it was a grind in the first half because Marcus Rouse has been our leading scorer. And he was in foul trouble, only played 3 minutes in the first half. So maybe if he was on the floor, maybe we would have had a little bit of a lead going, a little bit bigger lead going into halftime. But, Boston University's good, talented, and quite honestly, we don't have John Holland, and they do. And, that was the difference. I thought we did a good job guarding all their other guys. He's a matchup problem for us. And I knew that coming into the game. He scored 2,000 points, or was on his way to 2,000. Would have liked to get the ball inside. Mayo can score around the basket. He couldn't get near the basket today physically. Al Rapier, liked to get him around the basket too a little bit more. But, we weren't able to deliver the ball into him because of the good ball pressure that they were applying to our guards. It's a good team, well coached, and, BU's talented. I watched them on tape, and big, talented, good basketball team. And whenever you have the best player on the floor, it's a big advantage. And when you go into every game knowing you have the best player on the floor, that's pretty good stuff. I got to go out and get the best player again. It was a nice advantage for us last year.
What's been going on with Dallas? I know there's been injuries. And what do you think was behind this game? Do you think it's something that maybe he starts building on?
Yeah, he's been struggling. He hasn't practiced full time. He has some ankle problems. He scratched his cornea. He was wearing goggles for a while, so he had to miss a few practices with that. So it's just been, one of those years for him. He really hasn't gotten into any rhythm. This was the first stretch he's practiced, probably for 10 straight days. So he hasn't had that kind of, you need to practice every day to get your rhythm from the foul line and in your post moves. So it hasn't been that kind of a year for him. It's been more of a in the training room kind of year. So hopefully now this is his best stretch physically. I'm hoping now we can string something together because we really need him badly. And he hasn't had a good year for us. He really hasn't.
Obviously, Rouse had to sit for most of that first half with the 2 fouls.
Yeah.
But in the second half, he really struggled shooting the ball. Was that something BU was doing, or is that just...
Yeah, I think they did a good job of guarding him. But, he got good looks. He's been one of our best shooters, and he's been one of our leading scorers. Kind of an unusual game for him because he's usually very poised. He kind of was, I think because of the foul trouble, I think it forced him to rush and jack up a few shots that, he wouldn't normally take. Especially in the second half, he jacked one up right off the bat, first couple sets of plays. So he's usually under control. He usually takes his time. He didn't have that kind of game tonight. And I think he felt a little rushed and because of the foul trouble, tried to get it all back in a couple swings. That's not how he plays. So, it was a little disappointing. We can't seem to get those two guys, Brian and he, on the same day. One day Rouse will be terrific and Brian struggles, and the next day Brian will be terrific and Rouse struggles. So we really need those two guys to play well on the same night. If they did tonight, we probably would have won the basketball game. But we didn't get that, and got to get that out of those two because, Rouse is a good guard. I think he's an all-league caliber guard. And we got to get Brian and he playing well on the same night in order for us to win, especially score the kind of points we need to win.
Coach, with teams really focusing on Brian this year, without Tommy, without Mo, it seems like he's kind of been a marked man. How do you think that he's handled that?
Yeah,
pressure?
You know what? It's been tougher for him, obviously. Chris Martin hurts us too a great deal because Chris can go by anybody. He's physical. He's a good foul shooter, and he's one of our best passers. So, Chris takes a little heat off of Brian too. We don't have that, so what we've kind of dug into is our rookies. So, I wasn't planning on playing those guys really at all this year, and now they're thrust into a role. But, Brian's tough. I mean, he hurt his hand yesterday. I didn't know if he was going to play today. You saw him all bandaged up, so he was questionable, and so I was just glad that he toughed it out through that. But it's been a tough year. Everyone's keying on him. Last year it wasn't so easy to key on him, and Chris Martin helped in that area too, and obviously Tommy. But this is the season we have, and these are the players that we have. We fight every game. We're in every game. We're in every game, which is the good thing. Like, we don't fear anybody. We're going to go up to Maine, and eventually we're going to have a good shooting night. We're going to beat some teams. And I wouldn't want to play us in Hartford in a few months either, because we're going to come and we're going to defend, and our young guys are going to get better. So I'm not discouraged at all. I'm kind of encouraged that we keep on fighting. We have great practices, and we're just battling a lot of different things. We didn't have a sprained ankle last year, and this year it's every time. We come to a game. Guys are questionable. Guys can't play. Guys are, so it's just been a different kind of year for us. But Brian keeps plugging away. He really does. He had a great night the other night against Albany, and tonight he bounced back too. But every night, it's nothing easy for him.
What do you just say about a year like this after the best year in program history last year, kind of grinding it out with a bunch of young guys again?
You know what? I mean, obstacles. Like, it really, I thought we'd be the most experienced team in the league, and we're now only starting one guy from last year. We had 4 returning starters back, and now we're down to Brian Dewar right now. So it's just been a different year. It's hard. College basketball's tough. Every game, and we could have won 2 or 3 more games here too and be right where everyone else is. But it's nothing I expected. But I'm tough, and we grind, and we're well prepared for every game. We knew everything they were going to do tonight. That's what you keep on doing. And your young guys, you just keep confidence and minutes, and I think they could be good, and I think that's going to help us. We don't have one senior on the floor tonight. We have everybody back, and we have the youngest team in the conference without Chris Martin being around. So, I think it bodes well, and we will get Tommy back, and Tommy will make a huge difference. I think he's, we miss Tommy, leading rebounder in the conference. So, our rebounded numbers without him are even with BU tonight. With him, we'd be +8 on the boards, and that makes makes a huge difference on the final score. So we'll be fine. It's not what I expected, but every season, that's what's great about college basketball. You never know. You just never know. When a knock on your door, a referee's whistle, someone having surgery, just changes things. And our league, teams aren't that deep. Like if Holland were, or some, there's no other Holland on the bench. There's no other Tommy Breton. There's no other, Timmy Ambrose, or, and go through the whole league. Macklemore. That next guy isn't quite that, so it's been a battle, but I'm excited. We're in every game, and I tell that to our guys. There's nobody we fear in the league, and now we go up to Maine. Tough trip. This is a tough trip for us, and I thought we played hard and well enough. I just really thought if you put him on our team, and we win tonight, we had the same score, and they have him, and we don't. So they beat us by 5.
How much does Tommy and Chris not being there hurt you guys in terms of physicality and grit, where you might have Tommy put on John and he could possibly get in his face?
Oh, no doubt. And Chris would have guarded him, too. Yeah, there's no doubt. Those guys are their experience, too. So what you're replacing them with is young guys that haven't been through it. Dave's never guarded John Holland, so, he watched a lot of film, and, but it's not the same. So, just a little bit different, but, those young guys get an opportunity now to step up and be players, and hopefully they'll be better prepared down the road when we play them. But, Tommy guarded them last year, and Chris guarded them. So, it's just nice. It's nice for the coach knowing you got experienced guys, and that's what it really does to us. And Tommy's the toughest player, so it makes us even a tougher team. I think our defense would even be better. He was our all-defensive guy, so we're a good defensive team. Without him, maybe with him, we'd be, real good. We could have maybe held this team in the 50s, but that's, we don't have that, so we just keep fighting and hope that these young guys get better.
Last question?
Anybody else? Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.